Hi and welcome to this reading. Today's reading is a collective reading. I am pulling through the energy of a fated event, and I was hearing the song Fate by Her. This reading is part of a bigger collective set of readings that I am doing in regards to the wheels within the wheels that are currently at play this year, 2025, and also the wheels, the circle of life, the wheels that we sit in currently that lie within larger historical wheels that have happened through time. The astrology and just the synchronicities that I'm picking up on as we roll through the years. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I am an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. I will then come and use my tarot and oracle decks to further clarify the message. Now in this reading, we have my dog, my puppy. He's sitting beside me, and he comes and does that when there is a balance in the energy, because he's picking up on my energy and I'm picking up on collective energy. So all of my readings are timeless. Whenever you stumble across this reading, you are meant to find it. My readings are a little bit different from normal tarot readings. I am on a spiritual journey where I am tapping into the things that I'm picking up on spiritually, which happen to be synchronicities within astrological cycles, and then the hidden messages that lie dormant waiting for us to find when we tap into our own intuition on our own spiritual journey. And all I am doing is, as I do that on my own journey, I am pulling cards for energies that I'm picking up on, I guess perhaps as a tool, maybe to show you how you can do that for yourself. And we're all on the journey. We're all on the same train to collective soul awakening. And I'm picking up on an energy that's balancing out in the collective, part of this bigger 84-year cycle, which started back in 1948, just after World War II. Now, all of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs. Again, part of my spiritual journey. I'm an illustrator, and as I tapped into my own spiritual gifts, I was guided to create a range of tarot and oracle decks. I actually have another 12 decks that I'm creating at the moment, but I'm just getting so many messages through at the moment. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and do them. But all of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs. If you are called to any of those, the links to them can be found in the description box. Any songs that I mention, any TV series, any movies, anything like that will also be found in the description box. If you are guided intuitively to take a bit of a deep dive into any of those, then please feel free to use the links that I provide. So I've done a pre-shuffle. What I got was the North Node in Aquarius. North Node in Aquarius buddies glide through life with a dash of passion, charm and flair. To soar to the heavens, they must chase their dreams and champion righteous crusades. This is where we're at collectively. The current transit of Pluto in Aquarius, now that is a 248-year cycle it takes for Pluto to make its way around the zodiac. Currently it's sitting in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Aquarius is a sign of humanity. So collectively, now whilst the North Node is in Aquarius, isn't in Aquarius, the North Node is currently in Pisces. It's a spiritual journey. Pisces is spirituality. The spiritual journey that's putting us on a path where we are headed towards the decisions that we make are being made with the priority of how will this affect us collectively? Where is the humanity in the decisions that we're making? We've got the Justice card, which is number 11. It's also the card of Libra. So Libra is balance, bringing back balance. And then we've also got, this is the Ten of Pentacles. Now, this is the original deck that I created, as in this was my dummy run. And I just use it. I have, obviously, if you're purchasing one of these decks, the graphics have been tweaked. But this particular one Some of the cards came out very, very shaded, but you can see it's almost like the light's peeking through. We're going through a change. The Ten of Pentacles is the happily ever after card. It's everything. It's happy families, happy community. I want to say not financially rich and sound, but spiritually rich and sound. And we've had 77 years of, I want to say, the wool being pulled over our eyes. So let me give you some context. And I've started just doing drawings because it's the easiest way. So the previous reading was about the 77-year cycle that we're in. What I'm talking about today is an 84-year cycle. And it started in 1948. And it works its way round to 2032. It's a wheel within a wheel, within a wheel, within a wheel. 77 years is where we currently are, 2025. 2 times 25. 2 and a 5 is a 7. So 2 times 7 is 77 years. 2 sevens. The final 7 years of it takes us to 2032. These cycles play out astrologically, but they also play out within stories, and oftentimes they play out within biblical stories. So if you look at the story of Jacob and Rachel, Jacob had his dream about the stairway to heaven, where he wanted to go, collectively where we want to go. Humanity, he had that dream at 77 years this year. The stairway to heaven. He then met Rachel, asked for her hand in marriage, but was tricked, and spent 7 years working for her father, only to head down the aisle and be tricked and married somebody else. He then had to work for another 7 years, but 84 years is the end of that cycle. And 84 years is also the opposite of 1948, which is when, so 4884 is when this cycle started. Now within that cycle, and the messages that I'm getting is that there is a bridge. There is a bridge that's starting to be connected. And it may not feel like it now. We may still be in the turmoil, in the upheaval. That 77 years is called Jacob's trouble. We might still be in the turmoil of it. It may look like we can't see the light, but it's starting to peek out from behind the clouds. If you look at the bigger players in life, the bigger countries at play, we've got 1948 is when Israel became a state. And when something drastic, obviously, the Nakba happened in Palestine. 77 years will be the anniversary of that this year. The final 7 years takes us to 2032. You can look at North and South Korea. North Korea became a state on the 9th of September. That's a relevant date. And on the 9th of September, 1948. So they're at their 77-year mark as well. If you look at a major player in all of this happening, because obviously it was all in regards to World War II, and the big players were Germany, America, Japan, and England. A big player in Israel becoming a state, 77 years old in 2025, was England. The King of England turned 77 this year. So there's wheels within wheels within wheels within wheels. Two people fighting 77 years later. Two people fighting, or two countries fighting 77 years later. The King of England has got two sons that aren't speaking, and he's 77 this year. There are wheels within wheels within wheels within wheels. And you can look at it on a broader sense in terms of what's happening in the collective, but it is also playing out in the smaller wheels that are part of our lives. Have a look at potentially the people that you are in conflict with. And where these numbers, 1948, 2032, 77, you might be fighting with a parent, 77 years old. You might be fighting with somebody. It's all of these plays, right? This 77 number, or it in its reverse, or 48, or it in its reverse. Now in 2032, the Olympics are in Brisbane. Brisbane is the city that I live in, and the Olympics represent a competition, a battle, but on a world stage. You know, maybe by the time the 2032 Olympics comes around, some of these countries will actually have actual teams competing. The other things happening in Brisbane at the moment is there's a battle, huge, big battle going on. They're making it's called the Cross River Rail. Essentially one side of the city, it's a big snake, a big river. It's called the Big Brown Snake. That's what we call the Brisbane River. That separates the north and the south of Brisbane. So something in your life where there's some sort of separation, one side and another side. The battle lines have been drawn. So at the moment, there's huge, it's in litigation at the moment. They're trying to complete the Cross River Rail. So the transport systems, the rail transport systems in Brisbane are not connected. The buses obviously are, because you can travel over the river, but the rail aren't connected. And so if you're travelling from the south side, you've got to catch the train into the city, catch a bus across the river, and then you can keep going on your train journey. There's a disconnect, and they're trying to get it completed, obviously, with the influx of people that are coming through for the 2032 Olympics, this 84-year mark, the Cross River Rail, but it's in massive litigation. A battle. Now, the original connecting bridge, because they were pulling through these, and I was just getting kind of download after download after download. And if you're on a spiritual journey, it's about going down the rabbit hole. If you're thinking about something, you're thinking about it because you're meant to investigate it further. So I was doing this morning, the Cross River Rail. Oh, you know what? That's a battle between the north and the south. Even within the people of Brisbane, you're either a north sider or you're a south sider. And it's a bit of a joke. It's like, the dirty south, which is obviously, something that comes through from previous battles in history, the Civil War. But the biggest bridge in Brisbane that was built opened on the 6th of July, 1940. So within the realms of World War II, it was opened 84 years ago this year. The 6th of July, 1940, 84 years ago this year. And you know how long that bridge is? 777 meters long. Like, go figure. There are literally messages hidden within messages, within messages, within messages, within messages. Fate. It's almost like the divine hides all of these little clues, a bit like a big Where's Wally that you're meant to discover. But within this reading, there's a balancing out. There is a real feeling of things balancing out. Things that have been previously separated balancing out. I want to say reconnections being made. And it reminds me of, obviously after the war, obviously North Korea and South Korea literally split in half. But another country that did that was East and West Germany. When the Berlin Wall went up, and people had taken sides, or they hadn't. They'd been forced to take a side. They'd been forced on one side or the other because There were men and women that went to work that morning and then tried to come home that night time, and that wall had been put up. And I watched a documentary the other day, actually, the same thing, with people separated from their families in North and South Korea and not able, no contact. There's a coming together. A bridge is being built. I just heard the Goodwill Bridge. That's a bridge in Brisbane, the Goodwill Bridge. A bridge is being built. Okay, let's get a message. Childhood wounds and patterns. The truth will set you free. And I know I talk about, you know, obviously bigger cycles within cycles, but it runs parallel with things that are happening. Some sort of huge separation that's happened within a family, within a friendship group, within a relationship, that's being woven back together. Okay, let's get the energy of the collective at the moment. I mean, how beautiful. Oh, that's not meant to. The Nine of Cups. That is Jupiter. Jupiter is 777. Jupiter in Pisces. Pisces is a spiritual lesson. Woven back together. Look at them. Woven back together. Jupiter is luck. There's planetary alignments. There's things that are happening that will allow things to be woven back together. It's being orchestrated. The Justice card, that's the major arcana. It's being, you can't control that. That's the divine. It's being woven back together. North Node in Aquarius. Aquarius is humanity. Woven back together by the divine. Maybe there was a set of lessons that needed to be learned within it. Jupiter in Pisces. What's happening in the 3D? King of Wands. We've got lots of cards. The Fool. I'm going to get these out first, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. Yeah, look at that. The World is Saturn. A set of karmic lessons that needed to be learnt. Somebody needed to do the wrong thing. Somebody needed to jump in, because when I talk about Pluto and Aquarius, to give you an example of when a Pluto and Aquarius transit happened, well, the last time was the French Revolution. So power to the people, right? But in 1948, when all of this stuff started, when King Charles was born, when the boundaries were put up between North and South Korea, when the Jewish people were welcomed back into what was then known as Palestine by the Palestinian people, welcomed back with open arms, that was the beginning. But Pluto was in Leo at the time. So Leo is somebody who, Leo as an archetype in this sense is somebody who is dominant, somebody who makes decisions but doesn't necessarily think about the consequences for other people, like putting up a wall in Berlin and not saying to people, you know what, if you get in your car and drive today, that's it, you're not going to see your family. How about you just stay home today? Two sides of the fence. I've got that song 99 Luftballons, which is about a little boy who lets a balloon go, or a little girl, little boy or a little girl, one of them. One's on one side of the fence and one's on the other. And they let a balloon go as a symbol of love to the other person. And it starts World War III. Because it's picked up on the radar and somebody thinks it's a bomb, and, you know, and all it is these two kids who are wanting to connect. Childhood wounds and patterns. But there's so much garbage that's built up over 77 years or over 84 years. But it's being woven back together by the divine. The truth will set you free. The world, karmic lessons that are learned. Four of Cups is disappointment. The Fool is a new beginning, but it can also be somebody who foolishly did something that created a barrier. King of Wands. Foolishly took a stand. Look at him standing up there on the stairs. Foolishly took a stand. An unbalanced Emperor. In unbalanced Emperor energy. And it's caused. Now my deck's upside down. And I don't read things upside down. I didn't realise that. I've obviously turned it around while I've been talking, while I put it down and I picked it up. The Ace of Swords in reverse is a lack of communication, but the truth will set you free. Let's have a look at what's happening in the soul. This building of this bridge. They wanted to come out. Too many cards, but what do you do? The building of this bridge, Six of Wands. Victory after a long battle. The Empress. The opportunity to nurture something that was previously, I just heard London Bridge is falling down. Previously was torn down. Look, it's a bridge. There's a bridge on this card. The Moon. The Moon is emotions. To nurture something. And the High Priestess, which again is the Moon. Childhood wounds and patterns. What I'm getting from that is connections that were meant to be nurtured that are actually hidden. Connections that were meant to be nurtured that are actually hidden under the battles of war, because this guy, the Six of Wands, in the original drawing of the tarot, it's a guy that goes away to war, and everybody thinks that he's long gone, that he's never coming back, that he's met with foul play, or, you know, he's just, that he's no longer on the earthly plane, and he rides back into town. It's being woven. The divine is weaving this so that there can be a victorious outcome in a situation where nurturing is long overdue. This video that I watched, and it was of people applying every year in Korea to get in contact with somebody, and people had been applying for 20 and 30 years, and some of them their loved ones, and I think they only let 150 or 300 people every year connect, and they get this one day, or it's like a big meet and greet, and then they have to get back up on, they have to get the people that have come from North Korea have to get back up on the bus and go back home. And this one little old lady, she said she'd met her brother and she was so excited to have met him because she thought he'd passed away, and she didn't know because there was no contact, because you can't. And she said that even though she was excited to have met him that day after so long, she almost wished that she never had, because seeing him drive away on that bus, she re-felt childhood wounds and patterns. She re-felt all the pain that she had felt when she lost him the first time. Yeah, wow, interesting. What's the message from the man upstairs? Can you see that card? Three of Pentacles. That's a bridge. The bridge to reconnection is being built by the man upstairs, and the potential final outcome. The Page of Pentacles. That's the card of the student. It's a gift, though. That's also a gift. Reconnection. In that card, I drew that. That's a father and child. Childhood wounds and patterns. There's a big spiritual lesson in all of this. And the Seven of Cups. Look at that. That's Venus in Pisces. Venus in Pisces is a spiritual lesson. A spiritual lesson in the choices that we make that cause a great divide. The arguments that we have, the things that are said in anger and in haste. And the bridge is being rebuilt. The connection is being rebuilt. Okay, let's get this deck here. Jupiter in Pisces. Wish fulfillment. Things returning from the past. Oh, now look at that. This is defensive. Seven of Wands. Upright. Drawing the battle lines. In reverse. Actually going, you know what? I'm not going to fight. Six of Wands. Victory after a long battle. I'm not going to fight. We've fought long enough. Because that's Jupiter. And this, the reverse of this, which is the Six of Wands, is Jupiter in Leo. I'm not going to fight anymore. You're too important to me. What's happening in the 3D? Oh. The Page of Wands. The Two of Cups. That was trying to come out. I'm going to put that there. The soul connections between people are too important. And it often happens too. I know that those two boys are King Charles' sons. There's often a catalyst for a change in a situation. And it is obviously their father was diagnosed with cancer. The truth will set you free. A realization of what's really important. What have we been fighting for? But meant to happen this way. What's happening in the soul? They've got a soul contract, those two boys. They've got a soul contract. Soul contract with each other, a soul contract with their father. Two of Cups is a contract card. What's happening in the soul? Something's happening. The Tower, things being brought down. Your eyes being opened to what's happening. Page of Swords, a truth. Illuminated to a hidden truth. A hidden truth. The truth will set you free. That's Mars. The Tower card is Mars. A couple of months ago, I actually had a dream about the president of a certain country in one of the countries that I mentioned. And he was standing on a submarine, and the submarine was going down into the water. And he was standing there defiantly. Some sort of big change. Maybe it's the passing of somebody. That often happens, you know, you'll hear of people who, you know, have a parent who passes away, and maybe the children haven't spoken for years. But there'll be some sort of reconciliation that happens. Because this is what this is. It's a bridge. Reconciliation that happens at the funeral. This bridge that's being built. A new beginning. We've got the Fool on the bottom. A new beginning. And the Fool is Uranus, which is sudden shocking events. Something that happens. The Empress, that allows you to re-nurture an old connection. Rebuild. Empress card is 3 of Pentacles. 3, 3, 3. You might be seeing that number. Oh, might be seeing that number, 333. This is the message from the man upstairs. There's a tapestry being woven, tying you back together. And what I've got in my mind's eye, years and years ago, before I got married, I went to Turkey with my partner, who's now my husband. And we decided that we were going to get married, and we purchased a marriage carpet from a carpet dealer, dime a dozen in Turkey. And it was the story of it. The colours on the carpet were the two colours from the two different families. And prior to the wedding, I don't know if it's the bride's family or the groom's family, the family members start to weave this carpet, because they're all handmade, weave this carpet together. And then the tassels on the end are just set individually. But they use a red string and they tie two of them together. So this tapestry, this rug that's made, and they tie two of them together. Now, I got that song, Fate, by her. The red string of fate. You're meant to be woven back together. But it's within divine timing. And I just heard it's when two become one. So one side of the fence and the other side of the fence, two become one. Because the Three of Pentacles in this deck, where do we have it? Let me show you. Sorry, let me just find this card. Because I sometimes think that visual symbolism actually gives you... Sorry, you're just going to hear me going through. It'll probably be the last card. I'm sure it's the last card. Symbolism is great. There we go. When two become one. This is the Three of Pentacles, this bridge that's being built. Maybe it's family that brings family back together. North and south become one. This is a connection with God. Two sides in God, a spiritual connection. Part of this big cycle within a cycle within a cycle. But lessons to be learnt within it. Heartbreak that's been learnt within it. That's Mercury in Cancer. That's also communication. That's a card of communication. When things are so heartbreakingly raw, childhood wounds and patterns are so heartbreakingly raw that the only medicine is reconnection. The truth will set you free. Bearing your soul, forgetting about the argument and just saying, you know what would actually fix things is a big bloody hug. And then you forget about, you know, all the heartbreak. Page of Pentacles here. Let's have a look. The Moon. Wow, look at that. The Page of Pentacles and the High Priestess. And on the bottom, the Strength card. So in the soul, we had the High Priestess and the Moon. The Empress, which is also in the message from the man upstairs, the Six of Songs, the Six of Wands, which is about victory after a long battle, and the Page of Pentacles, which is a gift. It's the spiritual lessons that you learn through heartbreak, through being separated from somebody, from somebody that is part of your soul journey. And the reconnection, the rebuilding, the building of this bridge. That's really beautiful. Let's get an angel. I didn't get an angel. What angel is walking with us on this collective journey? Or with you on your... Actually, let's do that. An angel that's walking with us as a collective. harmony and mercy. Mercy is forgiveness. 32 is a 5, which is change. Vasaria, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's the Star card. The Star card is Aquarius, which is what we had up here. That's collective healing. Things are being mended. That's beautiful. Collectively, individually, let's have a look at individually. Health and longevity, 28. And number 1. That's the Fool card. That's a new beginning. A new beginning bestows wisdom. I was about to say it's a new beginning based on the lessons that you've learned, the hidden lessons that had to be learned whilst everything was in separation. New beginnings bestows wisdom. Health and longevity. That's the 6 of Wands. Victory after a long battle. So we've got collective healing going on and then individual healing and a new beginning. And on the bottom, 22, fortune, fame, and new adventures. Which again is that 3. That's the 3 of Cups. Now I've got all 4 3s out. The Empress, the 3 of Pentacles, the 3 of Swords, and the 3 of Cups. The only one I'm missing is the 3 of Wands, which is setting your ships for new adventures. It's when all your ships coming in. But it's not here because we're still within this cycle. We're 77 years into this 84-year cycle. But we're on the journey home. That's what I just heard. You're on the journey home. Okay, let's get a moon. Really beautiful cards. Now, 2032, that adds up to a 7. Ironically, of course it does. And 2032, every 15 years, the portals change. So this year is the 999 portal. It happened last in 2016. That might be part of the cycle that you're in. In 2032, it will be the 777 portal. So that's the 7th of the 7th, 2032, because 2032 adds up to a 7. Where did that card go? There. 7. The Crab. New moon vibes in Cancer. Brace yourself for some closure on a personal matter. Number 7. The last 7 years of this cycle. It might be the last 7 hours of this cycle for you. It could be the last 7 days of this cycle for you. That might be where you're sitting. It could be the last 7 months of this cycle for you, or the last 7 weeks. It could be the last 7 years that you've been dealing with within whatever it is your 84-year cycle, or 84, whatever that number 84 represents. It could be, and that's a big prophecy in Native, Indigenous, First Nations American communities. They have a 7-generation prophecy where things are changed across 7 generations. This could be something that's happened across generations of people. A 7-generation prophecy, but has to do with the number 7. Now this year, on the 7th of the 7th, 2025, Uranus, which is the Fool card, Uranus is sudden shocking events. Uranus goes into Gemini. Gemini is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's Gemini is the choice. Gemini is communication because it's ruled by Mercury. Gemini also, Uranus in Gemini was at play when the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. Sun shocking events. And I'm not saying a bomb's going to be dropped, but it's something big. It's some big cataclysmic change that happens within 2 parties that are in separation. And if I look at, let's for example take North and South Korea. Obviously, battle lines are drawn, right? If something was to happen within that landmass on like an earthquake or a tsunami or something like that, where two people who were previously fighting are forced to work together, then it is the catalyst for change. That kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. Letters and numbers in here are, I'm just seeing in my mind's eye the Hangman card, which is an epiphany. Why have we been fighting for so long? Why did we waste so much time fighting? Letters and numbers in here could be your first, middle, last initial, that of somebody that you're in a north and south arrangement with, somebody that you would like to build a bridge back together with, but you can't, you don't know how. There's too much water under the bridge. Let's just see what comes out. It could be just extra confirmation for you. It does make a little bit of noise when I shake it. So if you have hearing sensitivity, just turn your volume down. I'm going to shake it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've got an R and a 1, a B and a 3, an S and a 1, an L and a 1, an N and a 1, a W and a 4, an A and a 1, an O and a 1, a V and a 4, a P and a 3, a G and a 10, a T and a 1, a K and a 5, a D and a 2, a J and an 8, a C and a 3, an F and a 4, a Q and a 10. What I just heard there was, because I've got, no I don't. So you've got one country, right? And you've got another country. Now I was talking about a natural disaster, right? But what if, because there was an enemy, a common enemy that was at play when that country was actually one. When all those people were actually part of one nation. And so what if a common enemy comes back into play and then they have to join forces to fight together? Oh, I did too. I did have it. It was hiding. Interesting. Brought back together because you now have to battle a common enemy. Interesting. Okay, let me get you 3 final cards. I just couldn't believe that the story bridge, this is a story. The story of my life. That song's been on repeat in my random shuffle. The story of my life. The story of all these people that live in Israel, in Palestine, in North and South Korea. They're not just dots on a map. They're actually people. Even within the story of what's happening within, some sort of battle lines that have been drawn for you. Her side, your side, his side, her side. They're people. That's the humanity. That's the Aquarius in there. Yeah, that's the truth. The High Priestess, the hidden truth. This is beautiful. That makes me want to cry. It makes me think about Israel and Palestine. They are part of 3 Abrahamic faiths. Father Abraham had many sons. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they all believe in the same God. They just call it something different. Two sides of the same coin. 3, people of North and South Korea have all the same ancestral heritage. At one point, they were battling Japan. At another point, they were battling China. At one point, they were actually together as one unit. This big 77 years we're at now, 84-year cycle. And it's playing out individually as well. And what's on the bottom? 8 of Pentacles, which is the Sun in Virgo. Virgo is the Hermit card. Virgo is in the Major Arcana. The Hermit card is this huge spiritual awakening. And oftentimes spiritual awakening happens, look at this, Temperance. It's divine timing. A spiritual awakening happens, we've got the 9 of Cups again, where two sides are brought back together. 7 of Swords. Where two warring sides are brought back together because the Sun in Virgo, there is an illumination. There is a spiritual awakening that happens where both parties actually realize, because of bigger things that are at play in the collective, where both parties actually realize, what the hell were we fighting for? We're better together. That's a song too, Better Together. We're robbing ourselves of a connection that we could be nurturing. I want to say here, we're robbing years. You're stuck in the battle, as I said. The Cross River Rail, they've been in litigation for years. And all anybody wants is to connect the north to the south, because then people can travel. Makes it all so much easier. You don't have to get on a bus and get on a train and get on this and get too many, Israel, Palestine, through this checkpoint, through that checkpoint, and, all this sort of stuff. But the spiritual lessons that need to be learned within it. So that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope this reading gave you some insight that you can use on your own spiritual journey. If it resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you are called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. I will also list any songs that I mentioned. They'll be available in the description box as well. If you are intuitively drawn to, have a look at the lyrics of a song. It might be a message in the artwork, the album cover, something that was happening to the artist at the time, might align with something that's happening within a story, where you are in conflict, separation, where you're wanting to build a bridge back with somebody else. All the best on your journey, and I will see you again in another reading.